my name's Claire and I'm here to help you get better at ballet. And today, actually, I'm going to be talking about some of the other benefits of ballet, not just what you gain as a dancer by focusing on certain zones. Some of the things you gain as a person through doing ballet classes, and this goes across the board from children to adults. It's absolutely amazing. It's almost magical, the benefits that you can receive from doing ballet class. So first of all, I'm going to talk about children because that's when a lot of people first start ballet as a little toddler, and mummy or daddy takes you along to mini me ballet class or baby ballet, and you start trying some new ballet steps, and you want to be in a little tutu and you want to be a ballerina, and it's all really lovely, and those classes are really fun to teach. However, there is so much more to them. So certainly the classes I teach, the children feel like, and to be honest, most children's very little ballet classes, the children feel like they're doing an amazing game that's to music with a theme and a story, and they feel like totally absorbed in that. However, I know that they are learning some really fundamental movements that will serve them both in dance but also in real life. So first of all, obviously doing anything like this can build confidence. I've had children turn up to my classes literally who barely speak a word and are really shy and very quiet, and over the weeks you can just see them start to smile a little, start to come out of their shells, and it's really lovely to see that because obviously they've found something that helps them build confidence. I know for myself, when I was younger, I was quite shy and I didn't really say a lot. I was too scared to speak to people, and ballet was my way of expressing myself without actually having to speak, which was quite handy at the time. So it helps build confidence. You get to learn to interact with other dancers, and it's all quite a controlled environment. So for young children who are a bit nervous, it's quite nice to know that there's an adult there who's going to make sure that everything goes nice and smoothly and that nothing's going to get scary or uncontrolled, which for some children is quite a prospect, and they kind of fear that. It's also a great way of building friendships outside of school, because sometimes children get into these little cliques of friendships at school, and if you don't happen to be in the right clique, it can feel very isolating. And so it's really good for children to find other activities outside of school, to realise that actually there's more to life than the friends you make and build, the friendships you build and groups that you're with at school. Another benefit for children is exercise. Active children are more likely to be active adults. Inactive children are very likely to be inactive adults, and we all know the benefits of exercise. Number one, our bodies were designed to be moving. We're meant to be running around, chasing things, digging, rooting for vegetables, running after animals. This is going back to like ancient history. We're meant to be active animals, and unfortunately our modern lifestyle is getting less and less active. So it's really good to have activities that keep you active. It helps your bone strength, it helps your muscle mass, it keeps your heart strong, it makes you feel good. Exercise just releases endorphins, which immediately makes you feel so much better. And with children, it also actually helps with physical development. Sometimes children don't actually get to crawl, but actually crawling is a really good part of physical development because you're actually doing alternating movements with different limbs. So you're doing like your right leg, then your left knee, and so on. So that's really good for children. So it's good to do that with the spine being supported on all fours. Doing exercises on all fours is really important. So in our Mini and Me classes and our Dance to Your Own Tune classes, which are aimed at very young children, that's what we do. We do lots of things where parents might think, why are they crawling? But actually it's really good for them. Things like slithering on the floor as well. Again, something you wouldn't necessarily imagine in a ballet class. However, it's really good as part of their fundamental development, their physical development, building up muscles. Going upside down actually helps develop your inner ear system, and it helps develop the sensitivity so that you can actually learn to balance. It helps your balance. Standing on one leg is obviously helping children to balance. And so it's really helping all that physical development, which is really lovely for children and fun for them, and obviously really beneficial as they're growing and building their bodies and turning into mini people. It's also, and this is where it gets really exciting, And a lot of research has been done by a guy called Dr. Peter Lovett, and he's written a book called Dance is the Cure. And I saw him do a speech for the Imperial Society of Dance Teachers, actually, at my graduation. And it was incredible. It was phenomenal. He's done some research on basically how dancing as a group affects our brains. And basically they took, one of the examples was they took a group of babies and mums would bounce the babies on their knee randomly. And then they did some kind of cognitive task. And then they did an experiment where the mums would all bounce, or mums or dads, would all bounce the babies all in time to the music. Yeah, they played some music, they all bounced the babies in time to the music as a group. And they did another cognitive task, and the baby's ability had improved by doing the dancing or the bouncing in time to the music. So there's something really important that happens to our brains when we dance in time with the music. There's something that happens when we dance as a group. And also, in most classes, you get to do something of your own. You might have to get the chance to do your own arms at the end of an exercise, or have 4 counts where you do your own little bit. That creates that creativity in you, so that helps that. Another thing, aside from all that, which is like phenomenal, just the increasing blood supply to the brain is amazing. So say, for example, teenagers who are revising for their exams, if they take a little break to do a dance class, it gives their brains a rest from the incessant revision, but also it's doing something they love, but also obviously the exercise and also the dance brain boosting magic actually helps their brains. And there has been research that has said that on average, children that dance regularly get maybe 1 grade higher than children that don't dance at all. So not a bad thing. Another thing with the brain side of things is that because in dance we often do things where you might put your one hand on the opposite leg, or cross body movements they're generally called, and that engages both sides of your brain, so it increases the conversation or the communication between both sides of your brain, which is really important. Really helps build up those what we call neural pathways. It's like little pathways from one part of your brain to your body, or from one part of the brain to the other, and these need to be built up and gradually strengthened and improved, and dancing can do that because we do a lot of work where you might do one thing with one arm and one thing with the other, something with one leg, or you might actually touch your left hand to your right knee. So those sort of movements are really helpful for that side of it. And it's good fun. Children learn about music and musicality and being creative, and it's just such a good fun thing for them to do. On the same thing, so I feel like I'm doing a big old push here, but I do feel really passionately about this, and I think I love the fact that lots of people dance as a hobby, and lots of people dance with the potential to go into a career, which is what I did, and it's an amazing career to have. But also there are a lot of people who enjoy dance, enjoy music, and I think it's really important that they actually understand the benefits of it. So maybe it might sort of help them stick to it when things get a little bit tough. Sometimes life gets in the way, certainly with adult dancers and later teen dancers. Life starts to get in the way, and you start to think, oh, actually all my friends are going to a party, or as an adult it might be, oh, I'm so busy, I don't have time to get to dance class. So maybe you need a little nudge to help encourage you to stick with your dance classes. So with adults it's the same thing. Yes, you can build up a lovely group of friends, and we quite often meet outside of our dance classes, which is fabulous. As we get older, and you can talk about any age from like your late 20s upwards, I think you can cope with living a fairly, should we say, I don't want to say disrespectful, but a fairly lively lifestyle until your 30s, and that's when your body starts going, wait a minute, I think that's a bit too much, or wait a minute, you're not really looking after me here. And so really, no, any time is a good time to start dance class for fitness. Certainly as we get older, we do actually need to think about maintaining our strength, our bone density, our muscle strength, our cardio fitness. All of those can be improved with ballet. I like to think of ballet as like vertical Pilates, okay? Number one, you're really focused, so it's almost like meditating whilst you're dancing, which is really cool. You don't have time to worry about anything else, because if you're actually focused on the class and you're thinking about how to stretch your leg, how to stand, oh, am I in time with the music? Or can I remember the exercise? There's so much to think about. You haven't time to think about whatever was stressing you out before you got into class, which is lovely. It gives you like a real detachment from your life for that 1 hour or so while you're doing your ballet class. So it's really good for your brain to kind of quieten it down. Yes, you have your issues, and obviously, yes, you do have to deal with them. You can't just put your problems into a bucket and like hope that they'll go away. However, sometimes it's really good to remove yourself from that situation, not think about it, clear your mind, and then you can return to the situation, and sometimes you can deal with things in a much more focused, balanced way. So those are a couple of the benefits for adults. I've kind of meandered a bit because I've started on the social side of it. I have touched on the physical side of it. I'm going to go more down that road in a second. And I've also gone down the mental side of it, as in the clearing of your brain. It's really important to keep the brain-body connection. There's a lot of advice going around about things that you should be doing each day, like drinking plenty of water, eating clean, getting plenty of sleep, exercising. But one of the things I've been hearing recently is about doing exercise that has that brain-body connection, like yoga or gymnastics or ballet or dance, where you're really trying to be precise about how you're moving the body. It's not just about running any old how, it's about that connection between your brain and your body. And that's a really good one that ballet obviously represents and dance obviously represents. But one of the ones I'd really like to talk to you about is muscle mass. As we get older, our muscles naturally shrink and we lose muscle mass. And it's been recently shown that this is actually a really big factor in our health diminishing. So it's really important to keep that muscle mass going. And one of the ways that has been recently shown to be effective, more so really than doing cardio, or better for you than doing cardio, is actually weightlifting or weight training. Now, okay, ballet is not exactly weight training. However, the way we move when dancing, we're always using resistance. So I never just put my arm out. I'm always imagining that I'm moving through water. So I'm creating that resistance by using the opposing muscle groups, and that builds and maintains muscles. So that's one thing that's really good. Obviously, when you build those muscles, you're building bone density as well. We do little jumps, not big ones, but we do jump. That builds your bone density. Every jump is beneficial for your bones. Some dancers do tap dancing. Every tap is good for your bones. It just creates little shock waves that creates extra desire in your bones to get stronger and be stronger. So it actually increases the bone density. As you build muscle, those muscles start pulling on the bones slightly, and that increases the need for more density in the bones. So you're kind of doing a win-win thing here by building muscle and boosting your bones as well. So I talked about with the children the cross-body movements and creating the neural pathways between your brain side to side, but also between your brain and your body. And ballet does that for adults as well. It can start creating new pathways. You can always create new pathways. This is the amazing thing. Your body can always create more pathways and new pathways, which is quite exciting, because we often think that you get to a certain age and it's downhill, but it doesn't have to be. So ballet and dance can actually, again, increase that conversation between the left and right brain, and also the connection between your brain and your body. And because you're learning new things and you're learning new exercises, if you're doing ballroom dancing, you're having to respond to your partner. It reinforces what we call neural plasticity. And I think of plasticine, or like, you're wanting your brain and your nerve endings to be really, really mobile and stretchy and flexible. That's what neuroplasticity is all about. So you're helping really maintain that connection between your brain and your body. And obviously that's got to be good for you. And it's just like a muscle. You've got to keep using it. So having to remember little sequences in a ballet class is brilliant for your brain. It's like doing little brain tests every day, or little brain games every day that you do class. As I said, I mentioned the social side, but again, that keeps us young, keeps us connected with our people. And the whole thing with dancing for all ages, it feels good. Yeah, you got beautiful music. Even if you don't like one tune, the next tune's probably going to be lovely. And so you're dancing to music, so you've got that emotional connection to the movement. You're doing physical exercise, which again is going to release endorphins that's going to make you feel good. You're dancing with your friends, so you're connecting with people. It's going to make you feel good. So it's just a win-win. So if you've ever been thinking about, oh, should I try dancing? Oh, it's too late. Don't think like that. It's never too late. My oldest dancer is 79. In fact, my mum danced with us for a little while and she was 83. It's never too late. Yes, I can understand if you are actually chair bound, there are limitations, but go find a dance class near you called Silver Swans, and there are adaptations that can be made that can work for you. I also teach for a company called The Right Step. I also teach a lovely program called Active Armchairs, which is actually specifically designed for people in care homes, for people who are really quite limited with their movements and their thought processes. And it's just groundbreaking that when you can see a whole room light up once they hear music that's familiar, once they start moving, and even if it is just a feel-good factor for half an hour while the class runs, it makes such a difference to their day. So seriously, if you're considering taking up dance, you're thinking, is it worth it? Give it a go. Yeah, I know I sound like a preacher. I'm kind of going, oh my gosh, do the dancing. I sound like a proper evangelist, but I can't tell you how beneficial it is. And all those who are dancing already and kind of maybe wanting to be in the profession, they already know. But anyway, that was my thought for today. So if you want to know more, do follow me on Instagram. It's Bridge Ballet. So if you're not in Medway, which is where I am, do check out your local school. I do have online classes, but if you want to be in the room with the people, that's absolutely fine. Check out your local dance schools, and I'm sure there will be one that does a class that's suitable for you. And I can't say it enough. It is so good for you, and it's such good fun, and you will thank me for it, I hope. See you later. Bye-bye.